Alright guys, we got some upper control arms here from Supreme Chassis Parts, Mev Tech. So we're going to change out some upper control arms here on a buddy's truck. And we'll get to it, see how it goes there. Alright guys, so on these control arms, what I like to do first is try to take this little panel piece off, and then I like to disconnect the steering deal here, tie rod, so you can swivel this around and get to your cotter pin right in there. And I just put a jack up underneath here to hold the pressure, and then we go from there. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video all the way through if you made it this far. Now let me give y'all some extra info since I didn't really talk too much in the video. I was doing it at night, so then there was other people around me that were talking, so I couldn't really say much. But anyway, when you first start off doing these, of course, you're going to do them both together, lift the car up, put it on jack stands. If you're only going to do one at a time, you just leave one wheel on, jack up one side, jack stand on one side versus the other. That's what I did. But what I always like to do first is take the tie rod off loose, take the tie rod off first, like I said, because it gives you the room to swivel all that back and forth to get behind it real easy to do the cotter pins. Because I see some people that try to leave the tie rod on and they're trying to get back there, fight all the cotter pins, can't reach it. So take that off first. That way you can swivel that thing around, get in there where you need to get. Also, at the end there, when you see me put the tie rod back on, if the tie rods are pretty worn out, when you try to slide it back in, it'll just keep spinning on you. So you just take your jack, put a little pressure on it, and then you can start the nut without it spinning on you. That's the reason why you've seen me do that. Now, if they're newer ones, they won't sit there and spin like that. They're a lot tighter. But in his case, they needed to be replaced. So I had to jack them up like that to get it to start and get it tight. Basically, you definitely need to put like a jack underneath it once you start breaking the upper ball joint loose because of the spring rate. You don't want it coming out and at you. So make sure you get a jack up underneath it. And also, when you go to prepare to jack up your vehicle to do all this, make sure you give yourself enough room to where it will sag down enough so you can lift the ball joint up enough to get it out. Now, I took some pictures up top beforehand on like where the centric washer and bolts are, just to kind of give me a little thing to go by when I put it back together. You will need an alignment after you do these, unless you can mark it good enough to get it exactly where it was and you knew the alignment was good. But I'd probably still get another alignment, especially if you got newer tires. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty simple. That fork, sometimes you have to use it to get the ball joint to break loose, as you've seen there. I usually leave the nut on it. Give it a couple of taps on the side and tap it on the bottom. If it doesn't break loose, then yeah, just stick your fork in there and give it a couple of taps and it'll pop loose pretty easy. Other than that, all you have is a brake line that's attached to it with two little small, I believe it's 7mm socket that you need for those. It's like an oddball size. Like, I don't know why y'all couldn't just stuck with 10mm, but they use like 7mm if I remember. 7 or 9, something like that, but it's an oddball size that you need. And I think on the big bolts up inside, really like a ratchet gear wrench would be optimal for this area. And only the nuts screw off. The heads don't turn because they're like, the bolt's flat on one side, so the head part won't turn. You just have to get on the nut side. But I use like a 7/8, but really it's a big metric. I forgot the size, sorry guys, I wish I'd had all the sizes down. But if you could get you like a gear wrench to get in there, so you could just, it'd be so much faster instead of the little quarter turn that I get with just the socket and ratchet, you know, quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn. Takes forever. And then, you know, you lube them up good enough, wiggle the stuff, it basically just slides out. Now, most of the time, those eccentric bolts on the inboard side, that's where the heads go. So push them through like that, and the nuts are on the outside. So anyway, I didn't talk too much on this video, guys. You have to come to the end to see all that, but stay tuned for the next video. We'll try to put one out here soon, more so than twice a week. So thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. Till next time, keep it simple, keep it sweet.